In a world full of challenges, there are incredible people making a difference, one cause at a time. KFGO for a Cause, brought to you by Neil Van Dam and the Van Dam Financial Group. KFGO for a Cause shines a spotlight on organizations and individuals dedicated to positive change.
This is KFGO for a Cause, brought to you by Neil Van Dam and the Van Dam Financial Group. I'm Amy Eiler. I hang out here on Sunday mornings, usually with Neil Van Dam, but Pete and I like to say that we got an upgrade today because Cassie Duffy is here, and she's with us from the Van Dam Financial Group. Welcome back.
Thank you.
And Pete Christopher is here with us, Resource Development Manager at Habitat for Humanity. And welcome back to KFGO.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Okay, I think everybody knows what the gist is with Habitat for Humanity, right?
I hope so. Yeah.
You build houses, but it's more dynamic than that.
Yeah.
Let's just talk about the last year. Like, how was 2025? How many houses did you build? What was the impact of 2025 for Habitat?
Yeah, so we're just wrapping up the four homes that we built in 2025. So we built a twin home in Fargo, we built one in Moorhead, and we built one out in Barnesville. So,
out in Barnesville. Yeah. Okay. And let's walk people through that process. Sure. If you're learning about Habitat for the first time, what is it like to find those families for those homes? What is it like to build the homes? Let's kind of start from the beginning of that process for people.
Yeah, it's really an amazing experience. It's hugely impactful. We believe that everybody deserves a decent place to live, and that's kind of our starting point, right? Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, even in our community, that's not true. There's a lot of people that not only are homeless, but are one bad thing away from being homeless. So your transmission goes out on your car and you're just getting by. Well, that might put you into homelessness. And so we want to, attack that part of it. Obviously, your housing is your biggest expenditure. And so if we can make that housing affordable, well, now you have the funds to, invest in yourself, invest in your future through education. Now you can put better clothes on your kids' back. You can put more food on the table. You can save for the future. And it's truly very, very impactful for families in our community and around the world.
What is that process like of finding the families?
Yeah, it's a tough one. We start that in July every year. So we're kind of in the middle of it right now. And it's about a 6-month process. We look for three things for the families that we work with. We look for a need. That's the main thing. So most of our families are coming from, mobile homes that are falling down around them. We're building for a single mom this year, or in 2026, that literally has electrical wires hanging from her ceiling in her mobile home. She's got no shower, no tub. She's got a toilet and a sink in her bathroom. Everything else is gutted out. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of people to work on mobile homes, and this one's well beyond its life cycle. So we're excited to get her into her own solid home. So we look for a need. We look for a willingness to partner. So our homes are not, we don't build the homes and tear up the mortgage. Our families work incredibly hard for their homes. We require them to put between 300 and 500 hours of sweat equity into their homes, and that's building on their own homes, making thank you calls to donors, working in our restore, all sorts of different things, and taking classes on education on how to become a good homeowner and what all goes into that.
I love that.
So they're super educated when they move into their home. And most of our families they didn't grow up in a home, so they don't necessarily know, hey, I got to mow the lawn. They might have a landlord that does that. Or, if something happens with their plumbing, they can't call.
Homeownership is hard.
Yeah, they can't call a landlord, right? They got to take care of it. And we want to empower them to do that. And
300 to 500 hours is a lot.
Yeah, and that's spread out over. So when we select our families, we select them in January, but we actually select them for the following summer. So our families are 2 years in the program before we ever stuck a shovel in the ground.
Wow.
And that gives them the time to put that sweat equity in. And so it's not, we don't want to make it, detrimental to their job or anything like that. We want to encourage them that way. So, and then one of the common misconceptions about Habitat is that our homes are free. We've never given a home away. We've served 82 families in our community over the last 34 years. Worldwide, our mission has served 62 million people. We've never given a home away. And how it works is we assign them a mortgage. So they get a mortgage. It is their home. They own it, but they do have a mortgage. Now it's affordable. We subsidize a little bit a bit of it thanks to our donors, but it's something that they can build their life upon. So, even if we have a family that's renting a decent apartment, that might be $1,200, $1,300, $1,400 a month, and they're paying somebody else, helping somebody else build their wealth. With their own home, they're making, they're paying $8,000 to $1,000 a month, but they're investing in themselves. Plus, they have more money on the top end to put food on the table and things like that. So
that's amazing.
It's a very cool mission, and it's tangible, right? You can drive by and see it, and I go and talk to service organizations all the time that somebody will raise their hand and go, well, I helped put the windows in on that house on University. How are they doing? They'll ask about the family. They did know the family because the families are out there most days working with our volunteers.
Okay. I know I've I don't know why you've let me help build homes, but I have.
We take all kinds.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I was like, you really take like any level of ability when you're building these homes, but it is because you have real professionals on site getting this done.
Right. Yeah. So we have staff that are on site. We have two, Kyle and Allie, that are on site every day. That's all they do is build homes with us. So they know what they're doing. But yeah, most of our homes are built by volunteers. So it's a really cool volunteer opportunity. And one of our taglines that we use is through shelter, we empower. And that stretches beyond the homeowner. Like we want to empower the homeowner. But it also, it happens for our volunteers too, right? Mm-hmm. Like I remember, I can vividly remember we went out to Blue Cross Blue Shield and actually just built picnic tables in their parking lot one year. And I remember I was working with the gal there, and she was terrified of running a saw because she'd never run a saw before. I'm like, I'll help you. It's not that hard. So she was super excited when she was done. She was going to go home and, took a picture and send it to her husband and stuff. And like, hey, I ran a circular saw today.
That's intimidating.
The first time you run a power tool, it feels so good.
Yeah.
You start to understand. Like, I remember the first time I used power tools, I was like, oh, wait, this is actually my thing now. Yeah. This is what I do.
Yep. You always have to like rev the drill a little bit.
Oh, yeah. It feels so good. It feels so good. I get to use a grinder this summer. I was like, wait, why is this my first time? I love this. Yeah. There's something empowering about using a power tool. I don't know. I like it way too much. Yeah. Way too much.
They're fun. Yep.
Yeah, they are. They are a lot of fun. When we talk about building these homes, I know that I've been on that in West Fargo. There was like an all women's build one year, which is super fun. Are you still doing those kinds of builds? Is it just sort of like come one, come all? Are you doing certain builds? I know you have even businesses in town that you've built. Border States, you built a house in their parking lot one year, which was fun to watch, by the way.
Yeah, we are still doing those theme builds. And good segue, because we are planning a women build for 2026.
Yes.
So we're excited about that.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
Give me a power tool.
Yeah, the gal that we're going to be building with is the one I told you about that's living in a mobile home that we're excited to get her out of that facility. And all of our houses for 2026 will be in Moorhead this year. Kind of they're not next to each other, but kind of all in the same neighborhood. So we'll be able to jump back and forth that way. But yeah, we've done, like you said, the Border States build. We're working on something with them that we're hoping we can announce soon on that too. It won't be a house this year, but maybe something a little bit different. But we've done, Habitat has got a veterans build program. So we're desperately seeking a veteran to build for. Everybody wants to help veterans, but veterans it's hard to get them to apply.
Yeah.
They're proud, and they almost all say somebody else that deserves it more than I do. Yeah. Not the case. But we've served, our Habitat network nationwide has served about 10,000 veterans over the last 10 or 12 years. So we're excited about that. We've done, all sorts of different, church builds. There's other affiliates that have done like things like the house that Beer built. So they've partnered with, breweries and things like that. So we like to be creative and bring those things, make our builds. We've been doing the same thing for 34 years because it's effective. It's impactful, but we like to be a little bit creative once in a while instead of just building a house,
Yeah.
Do the sizes vary?
They do vary. So they're built for our families that we work with. We have a couple plans that we kind of start with. And then we tweak it a little bit from that. But and then we fit them in the neighborhood. So we have an architect that designs all of our houses. So, if we have an infill lot, we want to make sure that house fits in that neighborhood.
Sure, that makes sense.
Like I always say, when we're building the home, I want everybody to know that that's a Habitat home. When we're done, I don't want anybody to know that that's a Habitat home, because I want our families to feel like they're just a part of the community, and they're not. You're not. They are special, but I don't. They don't want to be highlighted because of that. So
right.
Yeah.
Pete Christopher is with us. He is with Habitat for Humanity here in our neck of the woods. How many are there nationwide? How many Habitats are there?
There's about 1,200 affiliates
Wow.
across the country. Closest one to us, there's one out in Fergus Falls.
Oh, okay.
There's one up in Grand Forks.
Okay.
And they vary in different sizes. We're doing 4 homes a year, roughly. There's some that might build a house every year, or even a house every couple of years if they're all volunteer run. All the way up to like the Twin Cities Habitat, where they're doing, they'll serve 120 some families this year. So huge operation.
Yeah.
But we also are worldwide. So we operate in 70 different countries around the world. And actually what's really cool about that is we're just starting COVID took a massive hit on that. We used to send people from the U.S. all over the world to build homes and do different things. COVID killed that, and they're just really starting to come back now. So we are actually working on planning what we call Global Village. We haven't quite defined where we're going to go yet, but we're hoping to bring some people from the Fargo-Moorhead area to different parts of the world.
Cool.
Build homes. I was privileged enough to do that in 2018. I went to Vietnam on a build, and that was really cool. We called it a big build, so there was 240 some volunteers from 8 different countries, and we built 21 homes in a week. So,
oh my goodness.
21 homes in a week,
Yep.
over 200 volunteers.
Yeah.
That's bananas.
Yep.
That is so cool. Pete Christopher is here from Habitat for Humanity. We'll have more with him coming up in just a moment. This is KFGO for a Cause. Welcome back to KFGO for a Cause. Cassie Duffy is with us from Van Dam Financial Group. We kicked Neil out this week. We put Cassie in. Amy Eiler from KFGO Radio and Pete Christopher from Habitat for Humanity is here. We've talked a lot about Habitat. I want to briefly take a left turn to Restore.
Oh, okay.
Because that's also part of your mission and a really cool spot for people.
Yeah, so the Restore is our building materials thrift store, and it's beyond building materials. Obviously, we have sinks and toilets and things like that, appliances over there. But furniture, like I said, appliances. We get fun things. Tools. We get fun things like, air hockey tables. Sometimes we've got an air hockey table there right now. Bed frames. We don't take mattresses.
Yeah.
We don't take mattresses and things like that, but we do take bed frames and things, couches, chairs. We've got I think we have two garbage cans full of shovels right now. So if you need a shovel, they're not new. They are warm, but if there's somebody that needs a new shovel, we do have some new products over there. So we started carrying a line of laminate flooring. It's a really nice flooring that you can come and deep discounts. We have some what's called recycled paint, which is really cool. It's Amazon paint, and they actually take in, everybody brings in a half a gallon, and they'll actually get all the junk out of there and retint it, and it's really nice, high quality paint. But then, some new tools and things like that, carpet, tile.
Here's the deal. These household items that you're talking about can be really expensive.
Right.
They can be really hard. You think you're just going to redo this little area of your house, and pretty soon you realize that's going to be a big financial burden to do what seems like a small project.
Yeah.
And so Restore can really be a resource for those homeowners who are looking to get affordable things to update a space.
Yeah. And even beyond that, like your businesses, we just partnered with a long-term partner of ours that we're doing some building things. And so we went in and got a ton of office chairs. When they upgrade their office chairs, they bring all their old ones to us.
Nice.
Just nice quality. I think we sell them for $25. Here's a fun fact for you deer hunters out there that an office chair works really good in a deer stand.
Yes.
Because it swivels and it's comfortable. And if you need to take a nap, you can take a nap in
Yes.
it.
That's a great idea.
But, I mean, we even got commercial fridges there through this partner. Stand-up table, like the desks that raise up and down. We've got some of those. So lots of fun things in the Restore. You kind of got to shop there often.
I lived in an old house in Moorhead, and I actually bought our wall stove from you guys because it was such a weird shape, and I happened to be there, and it fit. So, if you have an older house too, like they have a lot of creative things there that
like uniquely sized items.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, for an older home that you can't go to Menards for.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's about 900 restores around the country too. So I think the closest one to us is Alexandria. So if you're out traveling around and you want to go to a restore, they're all unique and all different things and whatnot. But yeah, all the funding that we raise at the restore obviously helps us employ a few people. We have got about 6 people that we employ in the restore, but also the funding all goes to help us build homes and sustain our mission. So.
Do you only need volunteers to build houses? Is that the mission, is to find people to build houses?
That's one part of it, yeah. We're always looking for people that want to swing hammers and run saws with us. But beyond that, every day we need volunteers in the restore. So that's a really good opportunity. Say, you don't want to build or you want something to do. You got 2 hours on Wednesday afternoons and you want to be a regular and come and volunteer with us in the restore. And that can be anywhere from running our till to cleaning the donations that we get, going out with our truck driver. We do pickups too, by the way. Going out with our truck driver and helping pick things up. If you're a tinkerer, you can come in and make sure that, the appliances that are donated to us are working. Lots of really fun opportunities in the restore. Beyond that, if you're, you like making phone calls, you can call, you can sit down and make calls to our donors and just thanking them for their support. You can be a part of our board. If you're a realtor and you want to help us find land to build more homes, there's lots of opportunities to volunteer with Restore.
Oh, wow.
I mean, even if you're a baker and you just want to bake cookies for even our Restore team or our volunteers that come out on the build site, there's an opportunity for it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nobody turns down treats.
Right? Yeah. So
I love that.
our volunteers work hard, so we want to make sure they get fed. And
now, this time of year, you're not building a house, right? Obviously, we're in the dead of winter.
So we're wrapping up the interior. So
you are?
Yeah,
okay.
we usually get our houses kind of what we call dried in.
Okay.
Well, the weather is nice, and then we can go back and circle back around and get the interior stuff done when it's cold out.
How do you help those people? What is it like helping these people get into the house and settled into the house? As we know, it's more than just like opening the door and walking in and being at home. Like, it takes a mattress and a bath mat and a shower curtain and a dish. You know what I mean? And I know a lot of these people aren't necessarily coming from completely unhoused living situations, but they're probably definitely going to something that would be bigger to sort of clean and furnish.
Yeah. So we don't. We really focus on the house itself.
Yeah.
And like you said, most of them have they have a bed, and so they can bring that over. Now we have had some good partners that have said, "Hey, I want to supply mattresses to all these homes, or all this family."
Yeah.
What we really try to be careful with is we want to be equitable as much from one family to the next. So even if someone said, "Hey, I want to supply beds for this family," we really want them to consider supplying beds for all of our families. You know what I mean?
That's such a great point, though.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that perspective of we want to make sure this is even across the board. Yeah.
Now, one thing that we do is we often find partners that will fill the pantry. So maybe it's not a couch and things like that, but they can come in and there's food in the pantry.
Yeah.
That's important too.
Yeah, that's cool.
We've got great church partners that, the churches in our community all have quilting groups. So when our families move in, every kid and then the parents get a quilt that's theirs.
Oh, that's cool.
That's kind of a welcoming thing.
Yeah.
We have volunteers that make welcome signs for them.
Yeah.
We've got some fun things that we do that's kind of we give them a thing of sugar and bread, and we have this whole saying that we go through that give them sugar so their life will always be sweet, and bread so they never know hunger again, and some of those kind of fun little things.
Yeah, that's cool.
So in what's unique about our program is that our families are there from the start of the build to the end. So there's not really a hey, surprise, this is your new home, because they've seen the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of unique with us, is that they kind of, we do a dedication at the end, but it's not like they're seeing this brand new home for the first time.
Right.
They've helped build it.
Yeah, they've been in there for hundreds of hours at some point.
So it's really fun to get our volunteers and our donors back into those dedications so they can share with the joy of that family. And, it kind of comes to fruition, and they kind of realize hey, it's done now. I get to move in and pretty soon.
Yeah. It's so fun.
So.
Okay, so if someone's listening to this and they want to get involved, How do they do that? How do they get involved with Habitat? Where do they start in that process?
Yeah, the best spot is our website, lakeagassihabitat.org. There you can find all different things. I mean, if you want to donate, like everybody says, no money, no mission. So really the most important part to help support our mission is funding. We can't do what we do without funding. So now what's really cool about that is because our homeowners own their home and they're paying their mortgage back to us, every donation that we get is actually matched by the homeowners themselves.
Cool.
So they get into a home and that's obviously already built and we hold the mortgage on it. So they pay their mortgage back to us. And that helps us build the next home and the next home and the next home and the next home. So really, It's a really kind of cool pay it forward type program. And really, truly an investment in families in our community, individuals and families, I should say. But yeah, if you want to make a donation to the Restore, that's all on there. If you want to volunteer, that's all on there. If you want to, we have a really cool new program through a company called Free Will. So if you don't have a will, we have an opportunity for people to create their own will for free. Takes
anybody?
Like 20 minutes. Anybody.
Okay.
Takes like 20 minutes. Obviously, there's a little thing in there where if you want to leave Habitat in your will or your planned giving, you can do that, but you don't have to. It's a really cool program. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, we'll see you in 2026 for that women build, I guess.
Awesome. Yes, absolutely.
Looking forward to it. Pete Christopher with Habitat for Humanity. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.